The Bible actually tells us that there is a war coming that's going to kill 2 billion human beings.
Define marriage.
I believe that marriage is the union between a man and a woman. But I do believe in civil unions.
Hamas has said clearly and publicly that they are not going to continue the truce, and the same day they attacked Israel.
When the confirmation of the covenant occurs, it marks the beginning of the final 7 years to Armageddon.
Today is Friday Open Lines. Give us a call right now, 1-877-ENDTIME.
Look, there are two things I don't discuss: politics and religion.
In my house, we don't talk about politics and we don't talk about religion.
I'll talk to you about anything except politics and religion.
I never talk about politics and religion.
Politics determines how we'll live here on earth. Religion determines how we'll live forever. I'm Irvin Baxter. I think it's time we talk about it. Well, it is my favorite day of the week. It's when we can talk about anything we want to talk about. It is your program today. It is Open Line. So if you're out there and you'd like to be on the air with us, 877-END-TIME is the number to call. Oh, by the way, many of you listen online and you wondered why you couldn't get in yesterday. Understand we had some technical difficulties. We do apologize for that, and it was a very important program yesterday. But the good news is you can go back and pick up the archive and still listen to yesterday's program. But don't do it right now. Stay with us today for Open Line. The number to call if you'd like to be on with us, 877-END-TIME. Or if you'd like to reach our operators, perhaps you want to become a partner, you want to go with us to Israel, you want to order some of our DVDs, that number is 800-END-TIME. So on air, 877-END-TIME. To reach our operators, 1-800-END-TIME. Quick review as to where we've been. We're talking about the turmoil in the Middle East and how much of the conflict is being fueled by a battle between Shiite and Sunni Muslims. Iran, of course, represents the Shiite Muslims. 15% of all Muslims in the world are Shiite. 85% approximately are Sunni Muslims. Now, they're all together until the world turns its head and they fight with one another. Between Iraq and Iran, they had an 8-year war because Saddam Hussein was Sunni Muslim. Iran was Shiite Muslim, and so they fought for 8 years. 1 million dead because they were in such terrible conflict each with the other. But, of course, when the U.S. went in and removed Saddam Hussein, we did Iran the biggest favor we could have done them because now then the Shiite Muslims are a majority in Iraq, but the Sunni minority with Saddam Hussein ruled the Shiite majority. Now then, the Shiite majority is in power in Iraq, the Shiite majority is in power in Iran, and now they're getting closer and closer together all the time. So we inadvertently, I guess it was inadvertent, actually created a double-headed monster right there in the heart of the Middle East. So interesting things. Well, it's time for us to get to the phones now. There's a lot of other things we could talk about. I do want to say one more thing, however, which is really important, and that is the big story of the week is the concentration of the Palestinians on its plan to declare statehood and to seek for UN membership by September of this year. It has put everything on fast forward. Everybody is scrambling. The Israeli government, what are we going to do? What if they declare a state? And what if the United Nations endorses a state with pre-1967 borders? Then it'll be Israel against the entire world. What are we going to do? And now then, everybody's saying to the Obama government, you've got to come up with a plan in order to head off this possible disaster. The people of Israel are saying to Netanyahu, what are you going to do now? Mr. Lieberman, who's the foreign minister of Israel, is saying that the three big parties should get together and agree on a single plan to present a united front to the world from the nation of Israel. Zippy Livni says, no, that's not what we need. What we need is new elections. You need to be out of office. We need to be, the Labor Party needs to be in office. So still can't get their act together. But anyway, those are some of the things happening around the world this week. But this is your day. So it's time right now to come to the phones, and we'll just begin with Illinois. So glad to hear from Illinois and listening on the internet. Hello, Chris. You're on Politics and Religion.
Hey, Brother Baxter. How you doing today?
I'm doing very good.
My question is, okay, in one of your Endtime magazines, you had written in there that the Club of Rome issued a writing called Mankind is the Turning Point, in which the world was divided into 10 regions. Do you remember that?
Yes, I sure do.
Okay. Now, you also said that the Roman Holy Roman Empire was going to be a 10-nation union, which we know that there are more than 10 nations in the European Union right now.
Right.
Okay. Could it be possible if that the world is divided into 10 regions, which we're saying now, the African Union, the European Union, North American Union, and all these unions coming together, could the Antichrist come out of one of them and be a Muslim? Because Islam is very Antichrist. The Bible does say that whosoever does not claim that Jesus Christ is the Son of God is of Antichrist. And what do you say about that? And the fact that Islam is the fastest growing religion of the three major religions right now.
Yes, well, I understand your logic totally, Chris. However, the Bible specifically says the 10-nation union exists before the establishment of the world governmental system. If you go back to Daniel 7, you got a lion with eagle's wings, a bear, a leopard, and a 10-horned beast. The 10-horned beast there is the same thing as the 10 toes of Daniel chapter number 2. And the 10 toes are of iron mingled with clay, which is the symbol for the Holy Roman Empire. Now, when you move from Daniel 7 to Revelation 13, now you move into the one world government of the Antichrist, and that world government will have the body of the leopard, the feet of the bear, the mouth of the lion, the 10 horns of the 10-horn kingdom. The point being, many people believe that there will be 10 regions on earth, and the 10 horns are those 10 regions. But what I'm saying is that the 10 horns were in existence before the world government was formed in the depiction in the prophecies of Daniel chapter number 7. That's one thing. The second thing is this. We know that in Revelation 17, we get a picture of the way the world's going to look at the end time during the reign of the Antichrist. And it's this 7-headed, 10-horned beast, body of the leopard, feet of the bear, mouth of the lion. And it also has this woman from the city of Seven Hills riding on its back, showing a union between politics and religion, between church and state. Well, the woman, the city of Seven Hills is Rome. And so this shows the coalition, the Holy Roman Empire reborn. Where is Islam in that picture? It's not in that picture. So if it's not there, what has happened to Islam? We know between Daniel 7 and the final structure of the world in Revelation 17, there's a war that wipes out 1/3 of mankind. That war starts from the Euphrates River, which is a total Islamic river, 100%. So that means Islam's going to be involved in that war, and yet we don't see Islam in the final world structure as depicted in Revelation 17. 2.3 billion people die in that war. I believe Islam is going to bear the brunt of the fatalities of that war, probably including China. And then out of that, the center for world power will swing to Europe. The Holy Roman Empire will reemerge as it has ruled Europe for the last 1,000 years. And that's the picture as I see it. That's the reason for my logic, Chris. And that's the reason I don't believe the Antichrist is going to be a Muslim.
Okay, because I've been teaching for years that the Antichrist could have been a Jew because Jesus was a Jew, and that kind of died down after many years. Because Ishmael was Abraham had 2 sons, Isaac and Ishmael. Israel was the son of the flesh, Isaac was the son of the promise, and because Jesus was after the line of Isaac, could it possible that the Antichrist could come from the line of Ishmael somehow? That's why I always wondered that because of the way it looks into there.
Yeah, all of us have studied prophecy, have gone down these roads, and we've wrestled with these questions as we certainly should. I personally do not believe the Antichrist will be a Jew, because that means a Jew will try to invade Israel and try to destroy Israel at Armageddon. If he is Jewish, he will be a totally apostate Jew. But I tend to think he will not be Jewish, because that means he fights against his own people at the Battle of Armageddon. Which,
and plus you got all the problems between Jews and the Muslim, the Arab world, and that's another reason I kind of see an Antichrist come out of Islam because of all that, the fighting between Isaac and Ishmael's.
Well, thank you much, Chris. We're going to know before long. There's not much longer to wait. It's going to be very, very interesting to watch it all unfold. Sure appreciate the phone call today. Let's now move to right here in Texas, listening on the internet. Hello, Eddie.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I sure can.
Hey, I saw your appearance there on that TBN show. It was wonderful. It was great. I really liked it, even though it was kind of kept me up late.
Well, thank you very much. It was an interesting discussion that we had there. You know, one thing that was interesting, I was not told in advance that Mr. Tim LaHaye was going to be on the program, and until I showed up at TBN's headquarters in California and walked into their headquarters, only then did I realize he was going to be there, which that was fine, you know, it turned out fine. But anyway, it was an interesting thing to be on the program with probably the most famous prophecy teacher in the world, because he's written
somebody had mentioned maybe the possibility of Jack Van Impe being there, and I tuned in because I wanted to really see that because he's completely opposite on the pre-trib thing.
Yeah, well, Jack was supposed to be there the first time. He couldn't come, so they actually allowed him to speak by satellite for the first hour. And so we didn't have any direct dialogue then. Now then, this last time, I don't know for sure why Jack was not there. Also, Mr. David Jeremiah was supposed to have been there possibly. Well, he couldn't come. So I really don't know exactly what did occur. But anyway, when I walked in, there was Tim LaHaye, and it was a very interesting experience. And, you know, I have to hand it to Paul Crouch. He's the one that has guided the subject on that program. You know, he asks the questions and we respond to that, and he's not been afraid to ask some of the hard questions, has he been?
Which brings me to my question. Do you think that maybe during the last 3.5 years during the tribulation, that them being there, the people who believe that they would be taken away, could be responsible for some of the great fall away that's supposed to happen right before it?
Well, I think it's going to work two ways, like things usually do, Eddie. I think there will be some who will be in the great falling away, because the Bible teaches that most Christians will be in alliance with the Antichrist under the leadership of the false prophet. Most Christians, both Catholic and Protestant, will be, but the honest-hearted Christians, in Revelation chapter 18, verse 4, it says, "Come out of her, my people, lest ye be a partaker of her sins and receive of her plagues." What that means is, in both Catholic and Protestant religion, there are going to be a lot of the sincere people that are going to say, this is wrong. I know that's the Antichrist. I know this is the mark of the beast. I will not be a part of this. And so there's going to be a great coming out and a return to biblical truth. And that's going to be a great revival. At the same time, most of the Christians are going to end up compromising themselves totally, taking the mark of the beast, all the while denying that it is the mark of the beast. And they may use the excuse, this can't be the mark of the beast because we're not supposed to be here when the mark of the beast happens. And that particular thinking alone could cause them to be in deception. We're up against a break, Eddie. Got to let you go. Good questions. Appreciate your comments very, very much. You're listening to Politics and Religion. And if you'd like to be on with us, 877 Endtime is the number.
Endtime Ministries presents End of the Age, a 30-minute commercial-free TV show hosted by Irvin Baxter. Every Monday, End of the Age airs on the Church Channel at 9 p.m., Daystar at 10 p.m., and on TBN every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m., all Central Standard Time. On End of the Age, Irvin depicts how modern issues like an establishment of a one-world government, the religion of Islam, a coming World War III, and more line up so clearly with Bible prophecies written over 2,000 years ago. To get tomorrow's news today, be sure to tune into End of the Age every Monday on the Church Channel at 9 p.m., Daystar at 10 p.m., and on TBN every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m., all Central Standard Time. Visit endtime.com for more details or call us at 1-800-ENDTIME. That's 1-800-363-8463.
The Bible prophesies about 4 great spirits which